So you bought yourself a Blazer, and it's either already V8 swapped, like mine, or you're gonna V8 swap it. Well, after owning this one for a few years, let me give you guys some tips and tricks, things to look for, what to do, what not to do. And I'll even maybe show you guys some parts I have that I'm gonna put on this one. So this one is a 1986 Blazer, two-door. It's been lowered 3 inches all the way around, and it has the 350 and turbo 350 transmission from a 1971 Chevy, as well as the shifter from that 71 Chevy. Now, I'm probably not going to go into every little nook and cranny of these swaps. This is just a basic overview for guys who may not have one of these yet or just bought one and want some things to look out for, or maybe some cool parts to pick up, because I'm trying to buy a lot of stock parts for this, like from junkyards and stuff that are actually gonna go real good together. And the average guy can do this. I'm doing this on a shoestring budget, and I'm getting these parts as I can find them. So anything you see in here, I have not spent a lot of money on it. It was just, I went out there, I walked the junkyards, I found it. You know, I cruised the classified pages for this thing when I found it. I got it for a good deal at the time. I think it was like 2011 when I bought it. But the guy who built it, it was built pretty solidly, just not super wild, you know. It was basically a stock motor with a 30 over bore and some headers, which I'll come over here. First thing I'm going to advise you to do, get you good headers, get you a good oil pan, and motor mounts and trans mount. Don't waste your time cutting up a bunch of junk headers you have laying around, or junk manifolds, or modifying your K-member down there, anything like that. Don't mess with all that. Buy the readily available parts to adapt it. Trust me, you're going to spend more time hacking on that stuff to try and get it right, and your time is worth more than the few extra dollars you're going to spend searching for the part and buying the part. And I don't mean buying it brand new and this and that. Just save your money and invest it wisely on those few parts at least, guys. That way, when you go to put everything in, it just slides right in easy. And then everything after that, not even a big deal, because the wiring, I'm running the stock wiring harness on this truck. I mean, there's so much stock stuff left over from the old V6, it's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he's running it on the old V6 computer. I don't even know. I've never even checked, but it is running HEI electronic distributor back there. So just spend the money on a few good parts, and you'll be on the road faster, and you'll be happier. You won't have spent 6 months hacking away at it and just be upset every time you look at it. Let's see, and I would advise you lower them. They handle better and they're awesome lowered. This one has 2-inch drop spindles with drop springs. You can get those for a couple $100 online, or go on Facebook and find the S10 groups, and guys are throwing them up online all the time for cheap. And as a matter of fact, I can't recommend the Facebook S10 groups enough. So many helpful guys on there, and they'll help you throw together a killer setup. The rear end, it's actually pretty simple, simpler than I'd like, and that's going to be upgraded soon. But you'll have to watch the separate video for this of the history behind this Blazer and where I'm going with it. That's coming out soon. But it's basically, let me think, a 7.5 differential with the 373 gears, and it's open. It doesn't even have a gov bomb in it or anything. So what I would do is, you can upgrade it to a rear end from a newer, like a 2001 Blazer, which, hold on. I have sitting right there. And that's posi, disc brakes, everything you need to get rocking. If you're running a relatively stock combo like mine, that rear end would be super awesome in here. And I was going to use it, but then I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to shred that thing pretty quick, and I don't want to swap another rear end in there for a long time. So I'm going 9-inch on it. And the reason being is I got this 408 stroker motor that's going in there once I get some heads for it, and a transmission, and a rear end. Which, another thing I'll advise, start from your rear end, then your transmission, then build your motor. Build your suspension and your roll cage, build all that stuff first, then build your engine. I mean, and that's not to say don't plan on what you want to build your engine. Plan what you want to build, but spend your money on your chassis and your safety equipment, because that's what's going to help you really go fast. Because if you just put a powerful motor behind any of the stuff I just named in here, it's going to shred it, you're going to crash, and this thing's going to crumple like a tin can. Because that's exactly what they do if they don't have a roll cage in them. They literally just crumple like a tin can. So, take that advice to heart. But those are a lot of the basics. You can actually do a Ford 8.8 swap on here. Super easy. There's a lot of other dudes here on YouTube with videos on how to do that. Check them out. And an 8.8 swap is real awesome if you want a way tougher rear end and posi, disc brakes, all that. So that's something to look into if you're just doing a street truck. But I want to actually take this down the track once or twice, so I need a little bit more of a heavy-duty truck. What else was I going to cover? Oh, yeah, some bits and bobs for it. So, there's all sorts of stuff you can get for these things. As far as the V8 swap goes, though, you see that right there? That's your AC condenser box and your heater blower box, and it sticks way out here, which not the greatest. So what you do is you go to a junkyard, and have a little patience with me here, and you get yourself one of these, or 3 of them, but one of them for now. And this is a non-AC heater box, and if you look, that's where the blower motor goes, right where that little tubey guy's sticking out, and that big spout for the AC isn't sticking out there. So you get a much cleaner profile, and you get a lot more room under hood. Like, a lot more room. I can't wait to swap it out. It's going to look so much cleaner in there. And you could always just go and get some aluminum sheet, trace it out, cut it, rivet it on, and be done with it. But it's Colorado. I actually want to keep a heater in mine because I get cold easy. But that's another story. What else? Seats. If you can find newer Blazer buckets, that's awesome. But you can put in seats from literally almost anything. A Cavalier, a Camaro, a Honda. It all looks pretty good in here. And Honda seats actually have lumbar support for us older guys with bad backs. Just saying. You can get cool steering wheels. This is off of a newer model Blazer. I believe that it had a leather wrapped steering wheel. Oh, what else? Oh, and for mirrors, you can get cooler mirrors than this. Shoot, what did I do with those things? They are a lot slimmer profile, if I could find them in all this nonsense, but they come on the later model 92, 93 Blazers and S10s, where they're plastic and they're a lot slimmer, so you don't got these big old square chonkers hanging out here, and they're actually pretty awesome. And I got a set, I swear I do, they're in here somewhere. But almost forgot the Jeep steering shaft. So if you come in here And you see there's a big old rag joint in here and a thick shaft leading up to what looks like another rag joint. You can go and get in an late 80s, early 90s Jeep Cherokee, and you can get the steering shaft out of there, and it eliminates the rag joint, puts a U-joint in on both ends, and gives you a lot slimmer profile, so you have more room in there, which is always awesome. What else? Radiators. This thing's got a radiator from an 86 Corvette that has actually been slightly recessed in a little bit so it's not sticking out. And I have a manual fan on here right now though, so but I would really recommend just a set of electric fans, because trust me, it'll operate so much better. You can find manual steering boxes for them, but as far as factory steering boxes, get the ZQ8 steering box, and it gives you awesome handling. And you can also take the whole ZQ8 handling package, sway bars, body brace, steering box, all that, and transfer it over to these to give you a lot better handling, which is what I'm going to end up doing eventually, because I basically like it about where it's at. So I'm going to try and keep it relatively there, and then because once I put a body kit on it that I have, it's going to be low enough. It's perfectly low enough for me. I don't need my frame to drag every day. I'll get something else for that. But that's about it. And the transmissions, you can fit even the big 4L80s in here. The turbo 350s, all of them, you're just going to have to vary your drive shaft length. But they all fit relatively well. And some of these Blazers, they even had a 3-pedal setup. So if you can get that, you can convert these to, and the trucks especially, you can find a lot of those were standards. So you can convert these to a 3-pedal setup super easy. And a lot of guys, they even take the 4-wheel drive ones and convert them to all-wheel drive, and those things are a riot. Man, that's NASA stuff compared to what I'm doing, but it's doable. They are out there. So you can go anything from mild to wild on these trucks. They're really awesome. I would recommend one any day. But you guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos on this Blazer and other vehicles.